And I'm here principally in that second role as the incoming lead of York Art History Collaborations, which was an initiative that was introduced by the Department of History of Art about 4 or 5 years ago, really to build on existing collaborations with museums, galleries and other institutions outside of the university world, but also crucially to foster new partnerships and collaborations at every level, really, from undergraduate teaching to major funded research projects. So one main reason for wanting to join the conversation today was to get a sense of how people are thinking about collaborations now and how that proposition has changed as a result of the pandemic and as museums, galleries and other institutions are in a stage of recovery. And I want to mention one of several new projects that are emerging from the History of Arts Department. And perhaps the best way of doing that is to begin by talking about an existing project. And I'll just share my screen very briefly. Can everyone see my the Pantheons page?
Yes, we can.
Good. Sorry, it's not very clear what I'm showing. This is yeah, I'm just going to say a few words about Pantheons, which is a project many of you may have heard of. It's an AHRC funded project led by my colleague Jason Edwards in partnership with St Paul's Cathedral. It's now in its third year. And its principal aim was is to bring into view more than 300 19th century monuments at St Paul's, which collectively have been described as one of the largest but least well-known state-sponsored artistic projects in British history. And the project over the last 2.5 years and into this year has been examining that pantheon, especially in the context of the increasingly contested presence of monuments in public spaces and a growing interest in the history and future of those monuments. For example, one of the major outputs is an online catalogue with individual essays for each monument, as well as various ways of visualizing the data that's being gathered as a project. This, for example, is a visualization of the changing materials that are introduced into the cathedral during the course of the 19th century, showing the introduction of a wider range of materials other than white marble. This charts the geographic reach of the people and places that are mentioned in various monuments, and which are intended as a starting point for wider conversations about the colonial history of the monuments and very much with a decolonising agenda in mind. And one of the more recent aspects or outputs of that project is something called 50 Voices for 50 Monuments, which brings together a range of diverse writers, artists, academics and others, each responding to an individual monument, which has gained some publicity recently. All of which is to say that it very quickly became clear that this is a project which had potential to extend beyond St Paul's. So we're now in conversation with York Minster about doing something similar with the 18th and 19th century monuments in the Minster. This is a picture of the Minster in the 1870s. We don't really think of York Minster as being a 19th century building, but it seems that there's enormous potential to bring this aspect of the interior of the building to the attention of many more people. And so one reason for introducing this to this conversation is to think about how a York Minster project along the lines of the St Paul's Pantheon project can be framed in a way that has the most benefit for York residents and visitors. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.